Hey nerds, Future Andrew here again. Welcome back to my conversation with Derek on video game consoles. If you found your way here and you're asking, wait, have I missed something? Yes, you have. This is actually part 2 of our conversation because it was just that good and there's just too much to cover. So I had to split it. I highly recommend you go and listen to that first part and then come back here to get the second half. Without further ado, the rest of our conversation with Derek on video game consoles. So, Sony comes into the mix.
Yeah.
And Sega kind of tries with the Saturn. It's not bad.
Yeah.
What happens with the Sega Dreamcast in the 6th generation?
Dude, so this sucks. So I
Just
am
quote, this sucks.
so I am in college and I am working a part-time job at Barnes & Noble. I'm saving my money because I know it's coming. And it would be the first Sega system I bought. So I went to the gaming stores and I tested it out and played some demos. I'm like, oh, this is better. This is beyond the 64. This is dope. This is better than PlayStation. This is what I'm talking about. And then they had the analog stick in the right place. They had the controller was still big.
It was bulky.
It was bulky.
Yep.
But you had they had these little mini, like Game Boys.
Yep.
That were their save cards.
Yep.
And you could play a little game on that too.
Yep.
So you could stick both of those. 2 of them could go into one controller. And I was like, oh, this is kind of dope. And so it allowed more. You could do more. And it had a little window. You could see the save information through the window. I'm like, this game. It felt like I was going back to the Neo Geo, more advanced. And they had the 4 ports already in their system, CD, and on the back they had the little line-in jack to get online. So now you can get online with this system, and nobody else was doing that at the time. So I was like, well, there's another little footnote of history. There was a thing called the X-Band that attached to your Super Nintendo, which allowed you to get in to do dial-up
Okay.
if you want to play like that. What's good kind of sucked if someone made a phone call while you're in the middle of the game, the Street Fighter, and you get, beat up and you don't even know it happened.
Yep.
So, but the Dreamcast was a good system. The problem is that they got so scared by PS2. Like, so the Dreamcast dropped on 9/9/1999. That was the whole thing. 9/9/99. You saw it in all the magazines and billboards and stuff like that was dropping out. And PS2 came a year later. The Dreamcast lasted about a year. Pretty much, it was his lifespan. Before, it was like, I would pull in the plug. They put a bunch of games out, but they weren't getting all of the market because people still playing the 64. Mm-hmm. People were not sold on Sega. And I was like, I'm sold on what they're doing because this game right here is dope. And they had a lot of arcade games that you could go and play, and all that was going to the Dreamcast. And they had the better fighting games. They had a good lineup of games, but whoever, I can't remember the guy's name that was over Sega at the time, but he was like, nah, we're just going to go third party. They got scared so bad. And then almost like someone made them take a deal. It was almost like, it felt like somebody said, you better take this deal, become third party. Well, or it'll never come around again. You just won't exist. And so they just quietly pack up their toys and say, we'll make games for you, Sony. We just make games for you only. We'll give you all the games and say, we'll see, this.
It's funny that you're saying that because as you described that controller,
yeah,
there's another controller that came out in the same generation of console.
Yeah.
That was big.
Mm-hmm.
It was bulky, kind of round, 2 slots in the back.
Yeah.
Has an ABXY.
Yeah.
It was the Xbox controller. Original Xbox
how big that thing is.
Yeah, the original Xbox controller. You had to be a giant to be able to hold it correctly.
Yes.
Which was stupid.
Yeah.
They've tamed it down. But you sitting there describing the Dreamcast controller to me was hilarious because I'm like, well, no, that was my original Xbox controller.
Yeah. You don't even think about it.
No.
You've normalized it.
Yeah.
You just
just the same
play it
thing.
for like a week and you're like, oh, it's normal.
Yeah.
Go about my business.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because you're sitting here saying that, Sega's like, oh, we'll stop making things, but we're going to still make games, which they do.
Yes, they do.
And they still make some good stuff.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog has some fantastic games out there.
Yeah.
And as long as they can not destroy the franchise, I think they're going to keep making some good money on all that.
Yeah.
But it's funny because their hardware, that looks very familiar there.
Yeah.
Microsoft.
Yeah. I mean, Microsoft's not going to reinvent the wheel too much, right? They're
Yeah.
trying to. Microsoft is so fascinating because they brute force their way into the game.
Yes.
It's like Bill Gates, like, I got gobs of money. I don't even know what to do with it. I have already bought up farmland.
Yep.
I've got a mansion the size of Texas. I don't know what else to do anymore. Let's get into gaming.
Right.
But the cool thing that they were doing, which, Andrew, is right now we're really starting to see the fruition of all their work that they were doing then. When they came into the console wars, their whole niche that they were trying to carve out was, we're going to bring PC gaming to the console.
Exactly.
That was their whole thing.
Exactly.
We want PC games to be on the console. And everybody was like, well, why don't you just get the PC? Why don't you because people are like, well, PCs can cost a lot for some people. And some people just want the console game. They want to be able to play the PC game
Yep.
on the console. That's what they want to do.
Exactly.
So they're like, we're going to do that. And everybody laughed at them. But everybody was doing something different.
Right.
So Nintendo's still trying to shoot fun and innovation. PlayStation is trying to be the adult choice in the room.
Yep.
And then Xbox is trying to bring the PC gaming to the console war. So everybody had their own lane that they were trying to do.
So, pulled up some numbers here. The Dreamcast was released in Japan in 1998 and in North America and Europe in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
It was discontinued in 2001.
Yeah. Didn't last long.
Xbox came out in North America in 2001. Came out in Japan and Europe in 2002, and it lasted till 2006, which is a reasonable time.
Yeah.
Because the PlayStation 2 came out worldwide in 2000.
We went to 2006.
13.
13? Went that long?
PS2 was not discontinued until 2013.
It was a beast of a system. I can't lie.
No. It was a good system.
Yeah.
It had a lot going for it because primarily backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
Because it was a CD drive that played the same type of CDs. We hadn't got to DVDs yet, which
That's
is
right.
what the PS3 touted. And the PS2 could do some DVDs. You had to have like the correct movies of the correct format. If it was made on some third-party DVD, it didn't like it. But not many people had DVDs yet. You're
No.
still buying VHSs at the time. But it was not, the games were on more of like a CD-ROM style, not a DVD format. Whereas PS3 was more of a DVD formatted disc.
Yeah.
And you couldn't necessarily play your PS2 and PS1 games on a PS3.
Yeah.
Which is something that always annoyed me about the PS3. So I had my PS2. We were able to get rid of the PS1
Yeah.
and keep all of our games.
Yeah.
And everything still worked.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
But who are you dealing with?
Sony.
Exactly. What did they do?
They wanted everything to have a lifespan.
Exactly.
So that it eventually failed and you had to replace it. I know. But at the same time, Nintendo innovated.
Yeah.
GameCube.
GameCube dope.
It was always a cool system.
Yeah.
I didn't have one. I think
I had one.
someone I knew had one, and I'd go over to their place and play it all the time. It's been so long though.
Yeah.
But it was so cool because it was this little bitty form factor.
Yeah.
4 ports still.
4 ports.
Weird controller.
Yeah.
A little more normal, but it's still weird controller.
Yeah.
At least it was smaller and didn't have 3 handles, just had
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
But the thing that I thought was always just so fun about the GameCube, the handle on the back.
The handle
of
on
it.
the back. Carry it.
You just carry it. You unplug it from where you are, carry it somewhere else, no problem. Good to go. Little bitty discs, so you had to be careful with those.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah. That's their attempt to keep piracy down because that was starting to happen. Hell, when I was in college, someone had already, I don't know how they did it, but they already had an N64 emulator. And I was like, how'd you do this as a cartridge base? I don't know, man. They're just getting better.
Yeah.
Somebody was already able to do it, but it took them a while, but they figured it out.
Oh, yeah.
So they're just trying to keep that piracy down and, having small discs. But the 64 was a cool system.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not 64, but the GameCube was a very cool system. I liked mine. And they had a thing where you could add the Game
Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advance on the bottom.
Yep.
I had that on mine.
Yep. You could plug in a Game Boy Advance to it and play some, if not all, Game Boy games through
Exactly.
your GameCube to your TV, which was huge.
Which is dope.
Because then I could take my Game Boy Advance and my copy of Ruby, Pokemon Ruby at the time, and be able to play it on a big screen TV. And I was like, this is amazing!
And you're asking yourself, why don't no one else do this?
Right.
Why don't they do it?
Right.
This to me speaks of their Nintendo's ongoing innovation. Because to me it always seems everybody wants to copy Nintendo. They want Nintendo's games and they want Nintendo to give in. But without Nintendo being there, would you actually innovate? Would you just get stale? You wouldn't even do anything.
Right.
Like these guys are coming with new ways to do controllers, new ways to do all the accessories.
Yep.
I can't, in all these different systems, it's like, okay, and we'll get into that because that's what it's going to, when we get to the Wii. But the GameCube was just an interesting system. The controller looked different. It's like, this isn't like a normal controller. It's like, this looks a little different. Yeah, but it's fit for your hand.
Yep.
You're not cramping your hand because they had to shrink down. Remember, we went from Dreamcast to big, bulky Xbox. It's like, no, let's bring it
Bring it
back
in.
here so
Bring it
you're
in.
not
It was
killing
tiny.
your hands. Yeah. You just need to use your thumbs. I need to be
Right.
like trying to keep this out here. Just
Right.
bring it in,
Right.
do my thumbs, and we're good to go. Why not?
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
no,
just found it interesting.
It was nice. And this started the second wave of the console wars, which, we've already talked about how this kind of killed Sega and the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
GameCube tried something different. Nintendo tried something different. PS2 was the powerhouse and was like the favorite
Yep.
of people trying to play games because there were so many more types of games out there now.
Yeah.
And I think it was at this time that PlayStation also went away from those like hard plastic cases to
Yeah.
the more DVD style case.
Yep.
Because they knew what was coming for all their movies to be the same form factor. Which it was always funny to me at how big that case was for the disc, but what was nice was the book you got with
Of course,
it.
they don't even give you books anymore.
They don't,
You don't even get instructions.
you don't even get a disc. You have to
You
buy a
don't get
digital
discs.
copy.
Right, that's right.
You have to buy a digital
You don't
copy
get anything
of the game.
anymore.
Right.
Pay more, get less.
Pay more, get less. Was it just pay less or pay more?
Pay more, pay more. Pay less is a shoe store. Pay more, video games.
Right. So, but GameCube went a different way.
Yeah.
Smaller form factor, same kind of concept of a case,
Yeah.
but for their games. Xbox comes in, it says, we're copying those guys. And it followed in PlayStation's
And they
foot.
did it with zero shame.
Oh,
They just like,
100%.
We're just gonna do
100%.
this.
Mike,
Yeah.
like you said, Microsoft said, well, what do we got over there, Sony? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, maybe we could do that. Ours is different. We've got a black and a white button.
Yeah.
We don't have any of those R1L ones. We got black and white.
Yeah.
It's different. Don't worry. It's not
Wild.
the same. It's not the same.
Wild.
But they did bring some good things to it.
Oh yeah.
Halo.
Halo revolutionized shooters. I mean, we thought GoldenEye was the cat's meow, and then it's like Halo. It's like, well, no, it's Halo.
It's Halo now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are some other fantastic games. It's not what we're here to talk about today, but
Yeah.
there's some fantastic games. And like you said, Microsoft's whole thing with the Xbox and the whole series of Xboxes is let's bring PC gaming to the masses
Yeah.
in a more digestible console. Because at this time, you're starting to see a lot more games on PC.
Yeah.
And it's not even considered a console.
Nope.
Because to your point, the computer, the personal computer, there's so many different types.
Yeah.
This is the time when everyone's now getting a computer.
Yeah.
You've got the home desktops. I remember all those Dell commercials.
Man.
People running through the hills and like carrying their box, and it was just the stupidest commercials.
Yeah.
It's like, you're getting a Dell. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone's got a computer now. Okay, well, if you knew what you were doing with your computer, you could play games on it.
Mm-hmm.
People who really knew what they were doing with their computer, they had to build specific
Exactly.
things
They have a
to
build.
make it work
That's
better.
Right. That's right.
I mean, I've got one here,
Yeah.
but it's a little bit easier today. Back then, you almost had to be a genius to be
Yeah.
able to build a computer. Nobody knew what that meant.
Yep.
The games were a little easier to run at the time,
Mm-hmm.
but that's okay. And it's kind of funny that even though computers have been the basis of how we've played video games
Yeah.
since the 1960s,
Yeah.
they're never been considered a console.
Not at all.
Because they aren't one. Because even though I can go to the store today and buy a gaming PC pre-boxed, ready to go, all I got to do is plug it into a screen, which could be a TV, could be a monitor, doesn't matter. People still don't consider it one.
Nope.
Even though it has as much, if not more, horsepower than any gaming console in the market today. It's because it's not form factor of a console. But that's what Microsoft's been pushing for with the Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, let's take PC style parts, shove it into a smaller form factor.
Yeah, exactly. And marketing is a brilliant thing that these guys do.
100%.
You know, with Microsoft's marketing, that's exactly, and they carved out a section of gaming for themselves just from saying we're bringing PC gaming here.
Right.
And you've never heard Nintendo or Sony ever say that.
No.
It's not something that's never come out of their mouths. That's not a goal of theirs. They've never had that. It's like, and they probably never thought about that. It's like, should we have ever said that? I don't know. But Microsoft did.
Yeah.
And they've got the Microsoft name behind it. It's like, oh yeah, well these guys deal with computers, so it seems to make sense. That's what they're going to do.
And that's even what they're doing today. I saw some kind of a funny video on was it on YouTube a couple days ago of guy playing 4 or 5 different roles in the video, like standard we've got today, and it was him as Sony and him as Xbox and him as PC, all playing all these different roles, and Xbox and Sony are talking, and they're like, hey, so I'm going to start playing your games. And it's like, no, you're not. Sony games are exclusive to Sony. It's like, yeah, but they're not anymore. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, you released them to PC, right? And it's like, well, yeah, a couple years later. It's like, yeah, cool. I can now access PC games. So what are you talking about? It's like, I have apps that are PC based that I can access that let me play PC games on my Xbox. Well, your games are on PC that I can access. So now I can play PlayStation games on my Xbox. And Sony's sitting there going, what?
Touche.
What? Oh. And then Nintendo pops up out of nowhere and it's like, try play mine. Good luck. Because they're keeping theirs to themselves.
They know better.
They know better.
They learned from that PlayStation experience. Like, let me give everybody the keys to the kingdom.
Right, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that again. That set us back a good decade. Can't do that again.
Nope. So, 6th generation, Dreamcast comes, dies.
Yeah.
PS2, here for a while. GameCube, Xbox.
Yeah.
Then, 7th generation. This is where I think my generation of people really got into gaming. We have the Xbox 360 with more Halo.
360 was a dope system. I liked it.
It was a good system.
I had it. Yeah, great system.
PS3. It was a good system. It was a bit clunky, like I said, because it came in and it was immediately like, we can play Blu-rays. And I was like, I don't
So you're a Blu-ray player.
Cool,
All right,
I don't care about your Blu-rays. But now all their video games were formatted to that. So it could hold a lot more. And they're trying to get fun with their controllers of, ooh, we have gyroscopes in it now. And everyone's like, yeah, but I'm not playing games with gyroscopes. So give me your joysticks. Let me alone. You had all your Guitar Heroes and everything coming out. But the crazy thing is sometime around the 6th and then starting into the 7th generation is when video game makers are getting smart.
Yeah.
They're not saying, oh, I'm only going to go to Xbox and make a game. I'm not going to only go to Microsoft or Sony and make a game. I'm not going to only go to Nintendo. They said, hey, I've got a game. You guys want it? And all of them are coming to, yes, please. So you could get a commercial for Guitar Hero, like I mentioned, and it would play the same game across all the consoles.
Yep.
Now, you had to buy it for each individual console, but this is kind of a big turning point because before really the 6th generation, you didn't have games on Nintendo 64 that were also on PlayStation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had some games that were kind of shared across the Xbox, the GameCube, and the PS2, but they were oftentimes significantly different because of what their baseline operating
and
systems
exclusivity
were.
contracts as well.
Yes.
You have people like, we got the exclusive. That's why you would never get a Final Fantasy like in the main line on any other system.
Right.
It just didn't happen.
No. And everyone touted and loved to say only on Xbox, PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
And hey, it worked for them. And there's still plenty of those today, like I was just making the joke about. But it was kind of this crazy era in the 7th generation where I can remember watching commercials for basically any game, and you would get coming to Xbox 360, PS3, and Nintendo Wii.
Oh, yeah. And, the Wii is interesting as we jump forward into that, because I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think Nintendo has kind of repaired their relationship with Square. and they started getting some offshoot Final Fantasy games, I think, at that point in time, but they weren't in the main line at all. And they had different ways of doing things. So like Wii stick, the Wii controller, what's the name? The dongle
there
or
was the
something?
nunchuck.
Nunchuck.
The nunchuck was the dongle that you had to like
Yeah.
plug into it, and then you
Yeah.
had the Wii remotes.
Yeah.
And I remember those commercials because it was the two guys from Japan coming, and they would bow, and they had the controller
Oh,
that
yeah.
we would like to play.
Yeah.
And it was just so revolutionary.
Yeah.
Nintendo knocked it out of the park again.
Again.
Because they came up and said, hey, we've got a mobile controller.
Yeah.
You're going to sit here and you're going to swing this to do things. You're going to have to do all these different things. And the nunchuck, yeah, it's, it doesn't really do much other than give you a couple extra buttons. But you hold that in one hand, big looping cable. Wii remote in the other hand, you're slicing things, you're batting things, you're bowling, you're golfing, you're doing all these crazy things that you couldn't do with any of the others.
Yeah.
Do you remember what PS3 and Xbox 360 tried doing?
Oh yeah, like the PS3 had some kind of magic wand looking thing, and like a little ball in it that glowed. I'm like, and I saw that and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So wait, you tried to make everybody believe that Nintendo was for the children's and not for anybody else, but you sit here and try to copy their style while talking smack about them on the other. It's wild.
Well, because they're sitting there going, well, they're making money on this. Can we make money on this?
Yeah, can we make money?
The thing that I thought hilarious that the 360 did was the camera.
I remember that mess. That was evil.
It was
I turned that thing off. I was like,
so bad.
It's terrible.
It was.
It's watching you. It's like it's
Well,
moving.
it wasn't trying to be the Big Brother side of things.
I'm sorry.
It was like it would find your outline,
Yeah.
and you'd have to like profile it out correctly, and then now you can play games with motion, just like the Wii, except nowhere near like the Wii,
No.
because you're gonna like headbutt a fake ball every now and then, or move slightly to make it do whatever. But it was crazy because the Wii was innovating. The other two were pushing the boundaries of their capabilities and their specs to make a cleaner looking game, to make a better processed game or better processing system. The Wii said, hold my juice box and watch this, and then made a fun console.
Fun console.
Yeah.
And that's what people went towards. Like, people like, I want to have fun with games because I could go outside.
Right.
But if I'm going to be inside, I'm going to do something fun.
Right.
And yeah, we've got, so I think it started this too. I think it started the trend of people buying two systems.
Yeah, you had to.
You had to.
You had to.
You had to get I'm going to do this for the gaming, that's not Nintendo, then Nintendo stuff.
Right.
That's kinda how it went.
Crazy thing.
It's crazy.
And we're not even talking the handheld consoles.
At all.
Because at this time, you had the PSP. I think it came out with the PS3, PS2, somewhere in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't good.
No.
It was nowhere near as good. I don't think Xbox or Microsoft ever tried to do a portable console.
I can't remember one. I'm trying to really think.
But of course, we had the Nintendo the whole time, and I've got it here. It was in the 6th generation where the Xbox is released, the GameCube is released. That we talked about, we had the Game Boy Advance. It was in the 7th generation that we got the Nintendo DS, which was its own thing. PSP came out at the same time with the PlayStation 3. But those games were even significantly different because of what they could do versus what the others could do.
Yeah.
And they were trying to be portable, but it wasn't really anything.
You can't do it. So this is where they fell in that portable part because they think they try to have disc. They were portable. It's like, that doesn't work.
Nope.
Too much battery power.
Yep.
Nintendo already figured it out. That's why they do cartridges.
Right.
So you
And
have to come
big
play
screen.
and big screen.
Which was nice.
Yeah.
And it was pretty, but it just drained on the battery. And your batteries back then weren't that great.
Yeah.
So Sony kind of was like, okay, well, we're going to stick to what we know. And we're going to keep up with making our main console the main driver of everything. Wii did its thing. Its games were a little bit different than the other two just because of what it was capable of. It was always a little less refined looking. Still a good console. Like you said, you had to pick. Do you want Xbox or do you want PlayStation?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get an Xbox, a PlayStation, and a Wii unless you were the rich kid.
Yeah. Yeah. You just had the money.
You would pick an Xbox or a PlayStation, and that was kind of your console. And then the Wii was the family console. Because then everyone could play games on the Wii.
It's crazy how
Yes.
that. I don't even know I don't think Nintendo ever marketed them. I mean, they marketed themselves as like have fun with your friends kind of thing. But I don't know if everybody ever came out and said like, we're the other choice for when you want to play with your friends because you're going to have this other system doing other things. But we're the, we're this piece of it. And then you also had the design of the consoles. They started looking more like home what do you call it, home entertainment systems.
Yeah.
Like they looked more sleek.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
and they were trying to build themselves out. I was like, this is something you can put in your living room. It doesn't look funny.
Right.
It
It's
doesn't
not this
stick out.
weird giant box with
Yeah.
a green X in the middle that lays flat and has a big dome.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's not a white weird tower that curves in on itself.
Yeah.
Or it's not the PS3 with that glass dome on it that you had to have like on the top shelf because it doesn't fit in your entertainment system.
Yeah.
The Nintendo Wii was
Slide
just
in
kind
there.
of fit right in the side and
Yeah.
it looked nice.
It looked nice,
It-
and you can lay it on the side if you want, but
Sure.
it looked nice.
Yeah.
And they did some disc with that and all that.
Right.
You know, so that was an interesting generation of gaming there because I think everybody held their own.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, yeah.
there was no wrong choice. I mean, no one's going to bat an eye like,
No.
okay, I had a Wii or you didn't, because a lot of people
No,
had
no.
all kind of different games, and I think you started getting more variety of games like
Yes.
on these consoles. I remember some of the Wii stuff. There was like, I think it was a game called, was it No More Heroes or something like that? It was a weird game, but I started seeing like games that seemed really experimental.
Mhm.
And people were playing that, and they weren't as mainstream, I guess, as what
Right.
you would find on like the PlayStation or with the Xbox.
Sure,
But I think
sure.
everybody was getting more of their footing. Like, okay, we're obviously doing this. I think Call of Duty makes a big explosion.
Huge. But it played
yeah.
across all three of them.
They played across all
and
three.
we had the advantage of, we got motion controllers.
Mm-hmm.
So you had like a gun controller you could put everything into. You put the nunchuck in the front.
Oh, yeah.
Or no, you put the nunchuck in the back and the Wii remote in the front so that you could like sit there and act like you actually had a gun while playing Call of Duty.
Which is crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it's more of that innovation. And I honestly think somewhere between the 6th and the 7th generation is kind of our golden age.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think that was like the top, the elite, the best gaming got to be.
Okay.
Everything before this is what built to this time.
Yeah.
But like you said, that 7th generation of gaming consoles of the 360, the PS3, and the Wii, everyone had one.
Mm-hmm.
Most people had two.
Yep.
Just because of what you had to have for the variety. People were still playing on their last generation of consoles because they still worked. The 360 did have its backwards compatibility with the Xbox's
Yep.
games, which was great. The PS3 didn't, so you still had to have your PS2.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a golden age of consoles, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily like the penultimate, nothing could get better, because there is some things that I think are
Yeah.
better today.
Yeah.
But this was just a great time for it.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that somewhere around the next generation of the 8th, things get a little screwy. My opinion,
Is this Wii U?
this is when the Wii U comes out.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
It was a little bit more innovation.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to have it integrate somewhat with the Wii, somewhat be its own console. We had to have it to be able to get to the Switch.
Yeah.
Because it's the first home console that you could set over wherever it needed to be, put your disc into it, play your game, have your wireless controllers, cool. Or you pick up the console and you sit there wirelessly playing it on a screen while everyone else is also playing on the big screen.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't good. The people who had it for the gimmick of, this is awesome because I can be doing this. I remember going over to John's house.
Okay.
He had one, or his apartment or whatever, and he had to go to the bathroom at one point, so he took his Wii U with him while the rest of us were still playing. While the rest of us were still playing on the TV.
Yeah.
He had
Okay.
his Wii U.
Okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't just the Wii U. I think the PS4 was a great console. The
I still
PlayStation
use
got
mine.
better.
I still use mine.
I've still got mine.
Yeah, I still use my PS4.
I haven't used it much, but I still got it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is kind of the era where I think Xbox is trying to do too much.
Yeah, this is where it got weird.
Because they went to the Xbox One.
Xbox One.
Which their naming conventions have always bothered
baffle me. Who getting paid to make these?
You have the Xbox, then the Xbox 360,
Yeah.
and then the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And the One X.
And the One X.
I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
It
just threw me off. Like someone got paid.
They were just trying to make new
this.
console just to make new consoles. And I don't really feel like much changed with the Microsoft side of things. It goes back to what we were saying. They're trying to make it more and more, let's have something that works with a PC.
That's what they're doing.
Because at this time, with those consoles, with the Xbox One, you could now plug a keyboard and mouse into it.
Yeah.
And you could play games that you had on your Microsoft account on a PC.
Mm-hmm.
your Xbox games that you have on your Microsoft account can now play on a PC, which is great.
Yeah.
They're basically trying to tell you, I mean, you can have an Xbox, or you could go buy a PC.
Mm-hmm. Because we've changed the game enough now.
Right, right.
And what's slick about the Microsoft is I felt like it felt like it was done under the cover of night.
Yep.
It felt like, where did that come from?
Yep.
We didn't hear about, at least I didn't seem to hear about how they were just methodically moving to this ultimate goal of getting there, and then all of a sudden they're there.
Right.
It's like, yeah, the name of the system is crazy sounding, but guess what you can do now?
Right.
And we did, and it always seemed like we know Nintendo doesn't care; they're in their own lane.
No, they're doing
But
their own thing.
Sony would be the ones that care, and I don't know if they were like, man, did they catch us slipping, or what happened?
I don't think they do.
Yeah.
You know, I like we talked about the Sony games, the ones that are made for PlayStation only, have started releasing from the PS4 to the PC. It's a couple years after.
Yeah.
And I mean, a great example of this is the Marvel Spider-Man 2, which came out for the PS5 2.5 years ago. It only just hit PC, and I'm so grateful it did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, and we're kind of blurring the lines here because of how recent the 8th generation started in 2012.
Yeah.
Which even that's crazy to think that was only 13 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we've had the Wii U, the PS4, and the Xbox One in that time, and the Xbox One X, or whatever the heck they called it. And I think there's a huge divide in all of them.
Okay.
Wii U starting to do its thing, because Nintendo's always doing its thing. Is it great?
Yeah.
Did people need it?
Yeah.
They still have their Wii.
They still have their Wii. Yeah, I didn't know a lot of people that transitioned from the Wii to Wii U. I knew some people that didn't have a Wii just said, I'm just going to get a Wii U.
Right.
Because they didn't think anything else was coming after that.
Right.
So it was like, I can just get the Wii. It's an upgrade. I can get the Wii U.
Right. Your Xbox, like I said, I don't really think it did much for itself. Maybe
Yeah.
a little bit of graphic and processing improvements. Same with the PS4, if I'm being really honest. It's a bit better of a form factor. The only thing I think the PS4 really brought to it was its better processing and graphics.
Exactly.
So that now it can be in 4K.
Mm-hmm.
PS3 couldn't, PS4 can.
Yeah.
But even then it doesn't do 4K amazingly.
Yeah.
You had to have like a PS4 Pro to be able to do that 4K.
Yeah.
So they didn't do a whole lot of innovating from one to the next. And your prices are staying about the same.
Yeah.
So we very quickly went from what I would consider the golden age to kind of a...
We don't know where we're going next age.
And I think that's kind of the big thing, and I think that's what we should kind of close this conversation with, is with our current generation of gaming consoles, we have the Xbox Series X or S, depending on do you want a disc drive or not,
Yeah.
the PS5 with and without a disc drive, and the Switch.
And the Switch.
Which the Switch technically came out in the 8th generation.
Yeah.
And it went back to cartridges. It went away from discs and it went back to cartridges. And it revolutionized something huge.
Big time.
Because now people are going, oh, I want a good working console that is portable.
Yep. And you got it.
And he got it. Like I said way back earlier, Switch and Nintendo have more simplified graphics, but they don't care. They're more about, let me have an engaging and fun console. Let me have an engaging and fun game to play.
Yeah.
Here's a portable way to do it. Here's some fun gimmicky ways that you can take the controllers off the side of the thing.
Exactly. And now it's two controllers.
That's two controllers. Or you could have two controllers, one in each hand, kind of like the Wii remote and the nunchuck, and they each are motion based.
There's a little kickstand on the back of your
Exactly.
Switch. You can sit it up and just like, I'm gonna play a little game while I'm on the go, while I'm just got something to do.
Sure.
Oop.
You want to hold it handheld? Great.
Yeah.
You can hold your console handheld. Oh, you're now at home? Great. Put it in the docking station. Boop,
That to
on the
me was
TV.
brilliant. The putting in the docking station and playing on the TV, I'm like, okay, and then I can take it with me. I'm like, so you've merged the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
You've made the ultimate handheld / console, and it's so funny. 'Cause I'm like, I wonder, and I know they weren't gonna do it because they can't do it the way they would want to do it. But like, would Sony have ever done something like that? I don't think they could have, because how can you get something to be portable but it uses cartridges? You don't want to use cartridges.
No.
You want to use this, but you know it's going to kill your battery.
Yep. But this is where I think Xbox and PlayStation are kind of at a loss of what to do next.
Yeah.
Because the downside to them trying to play these big, pretty games is the volume of data it takes to have the game.
Yeah.
It is an insane amount of data that we have to reserve to be able to play a new game.
Yeah.
Like that Marvel Spider-Man I talked about.
Yeah.
It was like 100 and something gigabytes of
That's
save
insane.
space
Gigabytes?
to save the game. Now, I've got it on PC, so I had to save it on my hard drive.
Yeah.
100 gigabytes of something.
Yeah.
But think about this also, and this is something that I think makes current generation of consoles worse. I buy a disc, I still have to download data to the console.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that with a Switch.
Nope. And I think, and this gets into a different conversation. Like we're getting to the era where you don't own anything anymore.
No.
You don't own games.
No.
You kind of rent them in a sense.
Yeah.
Then you buy games for 60 to 80 bucks a pop that come incomplete.
Yep.
DLC. Yeah, I get the DLC. Yeah. And it's become normalized. Like, there are young gamers now. Imagine somebody like that was your age when you started playing. They're playing now. It's like, they're 10. That's normal. Supposed to get half the game. They come back to half later, but I'm going to pay another 60 bucks for it. That's not normal.
No.
It's just robbing you blind. And then now, like you're saying, you don't even get to own anything. You don't get a disc anymore. You don't get a book. What do you get?
You get a disc.
Oh, yeah, you can get a disc. Yeah, if
You get a disc and you put it in, and you now have to have the disc in to be able to play the game. But the whole game's already downloaded to your system.
Yeah.
Your disc is just an authenticator.
Yep.
And what's crazy is that secondhand game stores are going out of business because everyone's going digital. Which, nothing wrong with that, but there was just some joy of being able to go, oh, I'm still on last gen console and people are up onto the next one. I'm going to go to the game store and pick me out 5 games for 30 bucks and be able to have hours of entertainment still on something that still works pretty damn well.
Yep.
Can't do that as much anymore. But the how do I say this? The quality of some of these games is improving.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Sony is the ones leading the quality of games.
Yeah.
Because they are putting a lot more emphasis on story.
Okay.
They're putting a lot more emphasis into let's tell a unique and enjoyable story that makes our people want to play our games.
Okay.
Because if you look at the last handful of years of games that were Sony's exclusives that are now coming to PC and by extension of future Microsoft.
Like a God of War.
God of War. The Last of Us. Horizon Zero Dawn. Spider-Man. Uncharted. Some of these fantastic games that have just such rich stories and such beloved worlds that people want to spend time in these games. And it's because Sony's putting the time into it. Now, we can nitpick the fact that it's hundreds of gigabytes of data and maybe sometimes it's not always perfect and that's a byproduct of the society we've developed, which I think is itself a problem. I'm not trying to give them a pass. I'm not trying to castrate them because there's issues all around. But I'm appreciative of what Sony does do with their games still for their games because of the care that they're putting into them in making these great stories.
Yeah.
Nintendo still is putting out their games, but I honestly, never have been a fan of Nintendo stuff, I'm never super excited. Oh, new Metroid coming out.
Well,
I'll try it.
That's Nintendo's problem. One of their biggest problems is that they are first party. Their first party games are their main games.
Yep.
And so they put a lot of care into it. And when they, like I said, back when they lost a lot of their third party, had to get it back after the whole Sony debacle.
Yep.
They've gotten comfortable with just making a zillion Metroids and a zillion Marios. Like, dude, no one wants to play anymore. But they should have already revolutionized their games. Like, there's no way that there shouldn't have been a massive world for Zelda. Like, why do you always have Link looking for Zelda and then there's Ganon? You mean to tell me there's no other enemies you can come up with? Ganon's it? He's the only enemy? And like, he should have been somewhere else fighting some other thing.
The only thing you need is the man pig.
Yeah, just pick a thing and make that the enemy. That's it. And then do that. Metroid, put Samus on a different planet and whatever. Just it don't always have to be fighting Metroid. It doesn't always be that. So it's they gotta get out of that thing, and they could do more. They would just get a different idea of where to go.
My last hot take on all that.
Oh yeah,
it's the fanboys and girls.
It might be.
It's the Nintendo super fanboys and girls who are so in love with all things Nintendo. and I'm not knocking your fandom. I don't ever want to knock someone's fandom.
Yeah.
But as someone who's not as into that one
Yeah.
specifically,
Yeah.
anytime I talk to someone who's a huge Nintendo fan, it's because they have that one character, that one set of games that was popular for them, or it sparks some kind of nostalgia in their brain. Like when I talk to Tyler about Metroid, he goes crazy because he loves him some Metroid.
Yeah.
He loves him some Mega Man, which isn't exclusively to
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
But these classic games, he's got to play the next one. New Metroid come in, oh, I got to play it. It's just like this. Oh, you want to try some Metroid? Here's this one, this one, this one. You got to try.
Yeah.
You know, and the same can be said for Pokemon. I do like Pokemon.
Yeah.
But I can look at Pokemon and know that it hasn't changed in years.
Yeah.
Some say it's gotten worse. Some say it's gotten better. There's some good, some bad about it. But, you know, 1,000 different Pokemon in existence now, and it's growing all the time when they're making new games. We did just get some new footage of the next one coming out, and there's some things that are looking pretty good about it that kind of have me hopeful for it. But Pokemon is Pokemon is Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to pick your favorite brand of Pokemon and go from there.
Yeah.
Pick your favorite brand of Mario and go from there. Favorite brand of Zelda, you know, whatever it may be. And I think that's where Nintendo lives, and that's what they're going to continue living.
Yeah.
Their console innovation is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
They found a good way to merge handheld and the regular console.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what the Switch 2 can do.
Yep.
I don't know that I'm going to get one.
Yeah.
Unless the next Pokemon games are only exclusively on that. Now, I know the ones after that will be exclusively on the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't get them. Maybe I just borrow them from someone for a weekend and be like, okay, I've had my fix. Because we've got 9 generations of Pokemon already. Do I really need to get the 10th and the 11th?
You gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all.
Gotta get more.
But all of this to say, there's been a lot that's happened with consoles.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's come from the brown box, which could barely play Pong, to these just insane simulation games and these insane war games and these insane stories to just bring these characters to life.
Yeah.
And I think it's still an incredible time to be alive, to be able to enjoy games like this, and to think that it was 1966.
That's crazy. Like your entire life, there's been some kind of game console or something like that that's been out there.
Yeah. And they've gotten a little better. I think they kind of, I'm not going to say they peaked and there's no more improvements.
Yeah.
There's definitely some room for improvement. I think VR is going to be a big next step.
Yeah, and you'll have to innovate a lot because I think my theory is the human eye can only detect so much.
You can. Yeah. 4K.
There's got to be a top out at some point on graphics.
Yeah.
So that can't be the only thing you live on.
No.
That won't be it anymore.
No. And it's... Anthony has said to me, what a lot of game developers don't do anymore is optimization.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're not thinking about how can I save on data? How can I save on space to make this game run better? Because now they sit there and go, oh, it takes 150 gigabytes? That's your problem. The console, I know that it fits on the console because it can hold 300 gigabytes. You have to figure out which one game you want on your console at a time. But they're not thinking about how do we do this. Whereas Nintendo has its limitation. It's as much as they can fit on their cartridge.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's definitely good things. There's definitely some crazy things that have changed throughout all of this. What's been your favorite thing about video game consoles as a whole?
My favorite thing is probably the convenience of having to... I can have stuff at my house, basically. Yeah. Coming from having grown up and just going to arcades, and I like arcades. I mean, I will still go to arcades now. But then having something that you can do when you want to at your leisure, the store never closes, right? You're not kicked out. You can just play when you want to play. You can play as late as you want to play as long as you want to play.
Sure.
And then the ability to just get as creative as you want. Like, we've come such a long way as far as what kind of creative games are out there, and there's room for variety. Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't played every kind of game, but there is from puzzle games to fighting games to just platformers to whatever you want to get into. I like survival horror.
Oh yeah.
So think about that. That wasn't the thing. I think Resident Evil on PS1 was like the first time that we even knew that was a genre.
Sure.
They made that. So, you're always coming with new things like, okay, this is a new type of game that's coming out.
Oh yeah.
You might like that. What wasn't for you, that's the thing I like, because some things aren't for everybody.
Sure.
Maybe everybody's not a Mario guy or a racing simulator or whatever else, but they like this kind of puzzle thing.
Sure.
Or whatever that may be.
Yeah.
They can do that.
Yeah.
So there's something for everybody. That's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, obviously, with other fandoms, it's pretty easy to say, start here, enjoy this, go from there. You know, if I'm to suggest Batman to someone who's never read Batman before, I'm going to be able to say, you got to start with this book. You're going to love it. It's a fantastic story for these reasons. And I could even get some input from them and be like, what kind of things do you like?
Yeah.
And still be able to pick a Batman book for them and say, read this one. You'll like it because it fits the things you like. When you're done with that, tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you didn't like. I can suggest another.
Got you.
What would you recommend for video games, though? For video game consoles, at least. If you were to meet someone off the street who's never played a video game today, what console do you recommend to them?
Ooh. To get started?
To get started.
I'll start with the Super.
You start them on the Super.
Super.
Okay.
Just because it's simple. The buttons, you don't have to learn to keep up. A lot of people don't play games because the control pad overwhelms them.
That is an excellent point.
They're like, there's 20 buttons on here. I don't even know what to press. The Nintendo, the NES had 2 buttons. The Atari had 1.
Yep.
The Super, you get 4 buttons. You just got to worry about 4 things and moving the control pad. And I think once you get that and just learn how you can maneuver, then you stop paying attention to your hands doing this. It becomes natural, and then you can move up, because that's where it went. Like from 4 buttons, then you went to 6 buttons. Now you have 8 buttons. You just keep going up, because like now you get the 4, and then you get the shoulders, right? So there should be 8 buttons, and then you've got a button you can click in, start and select. I mean, just all kind of different things you can do.
22 on a Steam Deck.
Isn't that crazy?
You have the directional buttons 4.
Yeah.
You have the ABXY, makes 8. You have your triggers and bumpers, makes 12. Your analog sticks each have their own inputs, so you count that as one directional input for one directional input for the other, makes 14. But each of those clicks makes 16.
That's crazy.
There are 4 buttons on the back that you can program to pretty well anything. And I know we didn't really talk the Steam Deck, so okay, I've gone to 16, now I'm at 20. There are 2 trackpads on the Steam Deck that you can set up to be any number of buttons, but at a minimum, they are touch, type control, and a click.
Yeah.
So I say 22 buttons
Yeah.
on a Steam Deck controller.
Which is insane.
It's insane compared to the SNES, which had 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
One big button that was up, down, left, or right. Oh, I didn't even talk about start or menu.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's
like if
24
you want somebody to be
Jeez.
overwhelmed, just start them off with something like, and then that's like the games are at a point to where they won't be distracted by graphics.
Yeah.
To a point of
Yeah.
like, I can work with this.
But you can go back to a Super Nintendo today, and it doesn't look horrendous.
No.
You know, it isn't like watching a TV show from the 60s or 70s, and you're like, oh God, what did they do?
Yeah.
You know, it's not playing a video game on the ColecoVision and
I
going,
couldn't do
oh
that.
God, what is this?
You can't take anybody back to Coleco or
No.
Atari. It's just
You can't do it. It's
No.
difficult. But that's a good point. The
Yeah.
SNES is probably a good starting point. If someone's never played a video game,
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest a Mario from that era.
Yeah, that's what I would do. It'd be Mario. Super Mario World would be the
That's
suggestion.
the one. It's
Play it.
pretty easy.
Yep.
But of course, you know, it depends on a person's taste, what they actually are interested in. And to your point, you get much past that and you've got all the joysticks, it becomes a little bit more complicated. But I think you're right. The SNES is probably a good starting point, jumping on point. If you were to try and go back and be like, oh, I've never played video games. Where do I start? We'll start with an SNES. It can be hard to get your hands on one.
Oh, yeah. I got one.
We'll just come over to your place
Still
and play
got
it then,
mine.
shall we?
Have to blow the dust out of it.
All right, Derek. Well, we've been talking at this for a pretty long time.
Yeah.
Any
Covered a lot of
last
ground.
thoughts you want to leave our listeners with today?
I would say if you've never gamed before, start with the SNES. And then jump immediately into something that's more recent. Just give everything a shot.
Sure.
And stay tuned for whatever consoles is coming out next. I have no idea what's about to happen. I'm always shocked. I'm like, oh, there's a Switch 2 coming out.
Switch 2 is coming out. They've got the Steam Deck, and
The
there's
Steam
all sorts
Deck
of
is out
different
there.
versions
Yeah.
of the Steam Deck that are not Steam's specifically.
Yeah.
It's a portable console.
That's crazy.
which is that weird merger of
Yeah.
the portable, because I can connect it to a monitor and be able to
Exactly.
play it keyboard and mouse,
What
just
if,
like a computer, like
what
it's a
if
laptop.
that's it? What if that's the new competitor that no one saw coming, and they get more market share, and then everything needs to be a combination of a portable and home,
Yeah,
and that
because
and that leaves other people like Sony like trying to figure out what to do next.
the Steam Deck is more, and there are others that do similar things to it. So I can only really speak from the Steam Deck 'cause I have one, but I can boot a whole background run of Linux. It's its own little computer.
That's crazy.
It's
Yeah.
basically a laptop, and if
Yeah.
I plug in a USB dock to it, I can run a keyboard and mouse to it and treat it like it's its own computer
Amazing,
with a little
man.
bitty screen.
Mhm.
But I can also output that screen to a monitor and be able to just play games on that
They came ready with
and
that.
force it to play at 4K.
Yeah.
It has processing power enough to play at 4K on that while docked. You
Yeah.
have to tell it to do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't want to, but it can. And it's just so crazy that it can do that. And then it can connect to a controller, an external controller, and just be able to play while docked to your TV.
I'd be curious to see the numbers after. How long has it been out? A year already?
A few years.
So I'd be
3-4
curious to see the
years,
numbers
3
on
years.
like what kind of market share that the deck itself has taken.
I would be curious on those. I think that's
Yeah.
definitely something good to look into.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
well, Derek, I think we've definitely run out of time.
We've
today.
run out of time.
That's okay. Thank you so much for being here with us
Thank you
today.
for having me. Yeah.
It's been great talking to you about video game consoles,
Yep, yep.
going through a little bit of the history, going through some of the major changes that we've had on each of these. Honestly, we could spend forever talking about just a generation of consoles and everything it had to offer, what was great, more numbers on it. But any last impressions?
Through all the years, my final impression is that these guys have been one to innovate. They do it in different ways. I think Nintendo's a better innovator, but everybody's coming with new ways to push gaming.
Yep.
Some out to make it more fun or make it whatever they want to make it, but to get you involved in it. So I think we're going to be surprised what comes up next.
Yep.
Because we might not even be seeing it coming.
Probably not.
So I'm just curious about what's around the corner.
All right. Well, to all of our listeners out there, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. This has been Andrew and Derek on Two Nerds vs. the Internet. Tune in next time for the next nerdy conversation, and just keep doing your thing. Keep enjoying whatever makes your little nerdy heart sing. Have a great one, guys.